Hey everyone, this is just going to be a quick tutorial on how to build Insignia DNS for yourself. This is for those people that are having some problems getting Insignia set up on their computers and having troubles with their internet service providers blocking the various DNSs or whatever. Um, anyway, b before we jump right into it, I want to give a quick shout out to the devs of Insignia. They've spent a long time working on this. It sounds like a couple 4 years or so, and we just want to say thanks to them for getting Xbox Live back up. It's been quite a few years since we've seen it going, so you can give a shout out to them on their Discord channel. So to start out, we're here at insignia.live. We're just going to jump right into it. So we're going to go to connect, and we're going to scroll down a little bit. We're going to find their download the assistant here link, and we're going to jump over to their setup assistant, but we don't actually want that. We want their main GitHub profile page here where all their repositories are. And so this is the one we want. We want Insignia DNS. So we're going to jump on over to that. And as you can see, there's no releases available to us. So we need to build our own Insignia DNS. And so to do that, they've given us some instructions here at the bottom to go through and run all this stuff. And so all this other stuff, it doesn't actually work right now because we don't have an actual release to use it. But you can come back and follow these instructions later on your own once we get this built out. So anyway, to start, it says right here, install Python 3.6 or above, preferably 3.9, and make sure to install the x86 version for 32-bit targets. I'm on a 64-bit target here, and so that's what I'm going to use. I'm not going to worry about this, but for those that are on 32, you can switch it up a little bit and adjust accordingly. So the first thing we want to do is install requirements via the following command as an administrator, but we don't actually have Python installed on this system. So let's get Python installed first. So we're going to go over here to python.org, and we're going to go to downloads. And you can see here the download currently is 3.11.0. We don't want that because we want to just follow their recommended version. And we can scroll down and we can find 3.9.15 an October release and download it, install it. But we're not going to do that either. We're going to use something called Pyenv for Windows. So here we go, Pyenv for Windows, and it's on GitHub. It's pyenv-win, and you'll scroll down a little bit here and find the installation instructions to do that. And why we're doing that is because we want to install various versions of Python, not just one. For example, later on, I might want to use the latest version, but right now they're telling me to use 3.9, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use 3.9. Pyenv allows us to install various Python versions next to each other and switch between them. And so that's what we're going to do now. We're going to run the installation to get Pyenv set up. We're not actually going to install multiple versions. You can check that out later on your own. There's lots of tutorials and videos on the internet about Pyenv, but we are going to install Pyenv and install the 3.9 so we can get this Insignia DNS set up. So the easiest way to install Pyenv is to come here and go through the PowerShell. So that's what we're going to do. It says right here, the easiest way to install Pyenv for Windows is to run the following installation command in a PowerShell terminal. So we're just going to copy that, open our PowerShell, and right-click to paste that sucker in and run it. Okay, Pyenv for Windows 3.1.1 was installed. That's good. So we want to scroll down a little bit further past these other options for installation to, and you can use these other ones if you like, but we're using the PowerShell version. So we need to add some system settings next. We need to add the Pyenv home, Pyenv root environment variables to our system. So when we're in our command line and we type in Pyenv, it actually finds those executables. So we'll just copy these one by one, right click to paste them in, let those go. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's our environment variables all set up. It says the installation is done, hooray. But we're going to check, make sure those got installed real quick. So we're just going to search for environment variables, and that's part of your control panel. I'm on Windows 11. You'll have to find this if you're on a previous version of Windows. So I'm just going to open this up to our environment variables here, and you'll see environment variables, and we can come check. And so it looks like we got our Pyenv root, we got our Pyenv home, we got our Pyenv environment variables. Let's check our path, and it looks like those got installed there as well. It looks like it doubled up on those, so we can remove one set of those. That should be good. That's looking good. So okay, hit OK and hit OK. So now we can close that PowerShell, open a new one fresh. Let's double check, make sure Pyenv was installed in fact. So we'll just type in Pyenv, and there we go. We got Pyenv 3.1. We got some useful information, and you can type in Pyenv help in whatever command to get more information if you need to. So that's Pyenv. We don't actually have Python installed yet. That's what we need to do next. So we're going to go Pyenv install -- list to see what's available to us. Wow, so we got a lot of Pythons, and you can see there's the 32-bit versions for those on the 32-bit machines. And we can scroll up a little bit here, and we can see that Python 3.9.13 is available to us. So that's what we want. We're going to install that with Pyenv. Install 3.9.13. Let that sucker run for a second. Looks like it's done. So let's just check if that actually installed Pyenv versions. And yeah, looks like we have Pyenv 3.9.13. Yours might have taken a little bit longer. I had already walked through this process before, so that's why I didn't show any like downloading stuff. But yours will kind of download the Python files from python.org, and then you'll have it. So now we can do Pyenv version without the S, and normally you'll see Pyenv is not actually has a version set. And in order to install a version, you would do Pyenv global, and you'd pick your version. In this case, we wanted 3.9.13, and so that's how we set our Python. I actually walked through this tutorial once before, so that's why you didn't see that message, but trust me, you got to do the Pyenv global. You can also do local, which will set it in a file, which will set it in a folder locally to that folder. Globally sets it everywhere. And then you can change between these versions of Python. And we're just going to be doing the 3.9 this time, so we're not going to worry about any other Pythons. But let's check, make sure we have the Python we want. So we're going to do Python-V, capital V as in Victor, to check which Python we have. Okay, good. Python 3.9.13 is installed. So that's done, so we can close that. We got Pyenv installed. We got the 3.9 Python installed. Now let's check out what's next. Okay, so now it says install all requirements via the following command as an administrator. So I know one other thing from doing this earlier, that we need to add one item to this requirements text. So we downloaded the zip earlier, or no, we didn't. So let's go back up to code here and download the zip. If you have Git installed, you could do git clone and then use this URL to clone the repo. That's all the stuff you need here in the repo. But we're just going to download the zip real quick. And then we're going to extract it. Extract all, extract it. There we go. Now you see we have our requirements text, and we're just going to open that requirements text up with Notepad. And I got my note here. We want this ordered set, and it might be ordered with no dash set, but I think that's an older version, so we want this newer version, so order dash set. And we're just going to paste that in with these other two requirements. So we've got request and DNS lib and ordered set there. And we're just going to save that. So that's good. So now our requirements are set up. We have our Python set up through Pyenv, and we can run this command here to use pip, the package manager, to install the requirements using the R flag, and also these other two packages, Nutka and ZStandard. Nutka is the compiler that takes our Python file, takes our Python file and converts it into an executable file. And so you can check out Nutka if you like. You could also check out pip. Those are the Python package manager for Python. And you can check out those things. And so anyway, back here to the repo, we're going to take this command and we're going to run it. And we want to run it so it can find this requirements text here. And to do that, we can just use the shortcut and type in command and open our command up in that folder. And we'll just right click to paste that in and hit enter. It's going to install all that stuff. I already did that once. It ran through it all, so you don't need to watch that, but you'll have to wait for it to download all that stuff. And so that's good. That's all installed, ready to go. Just let it do its thing, and it'll finish out, and you'll be ready. And so we're going to come back here to our insigniaDNS repo again, and we're going to grab this other command, and then we're going to run that. So I'm going to clear this out and let it right click it in there, let it run. So yeah, Nutka's starting up. It's doing its compilation using Python 3.9, and it's just gonna run through all the stuff it's got to do to build out an executable. So we're gonna give that a little bit of time to run out. I might stop the video and come back. We'll see if it doesn't take too long. We'll let it run, but if it's taking a while, I'll cut some of that out for you guys. Oh, in the meantime, we can go check out Insignia Live if you like, Insignia Live, and check out some of their games. Yeah, I hear there's some cool games coming out on Friday. That was just a rumor. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm excited for those games to come out on Monday, rather. And yeah, there's some good ones here already, and there's going to be more. And so yeah, real cool of those guys to put this together and get this working again. And I hope everybody's able to enjoy all this stuff. You know, a lot of people never even got to try Xbox Live. And so yeah, this is going to be their first time on Xbox Live and playing with their friends. So that's pretty cool. So let's go back and check this. All right, so it's doing its compiling stuff. And it might ask you to download a few things, and it might ask us too. And you just hit yes on those. It's just Nutka stuff that it needs for its to do its job. So we're just going to let it go here. Yeah, and once that's finished, we should have this insigniaDNS executable ready. And when you run that, assuming that everything went okay, it's going to give you this message, and it's going to tell you what your primary DNS should be set at and your secondary DNS should be set at. And that's going to like kind of skirt around your current DNS, and hopefully you'll be able to connect. And we'll show you that in a second. Let's just let this finish out here building. Okay, so now it's asking us if we can install this next item. And we'll just hit enter for yes, because that's the default. There goes downloading some stuff, doing its thing. It looks like it's turning it into a one file. Okay, now it looks like it's building out the payload. And in this case, it's the insigniaDNS.exe. Adding all the stuff it needs to run. Okay, successfully created an Insignia DNS. So let's go check our folder here and see if it actually did. And there you go, folks. There's your Insignia DNS, and we can just run it and see what it does. By double clicking on it, give it permissions. And yeah, how to use, you just put this the IPs into your DNS on your console like it says. Just one thing to note, Nuka might trigger your Windows Defender. Just dismiss it. It's fine. You can check out Nuka source code if you want, if you're worried about it. You can also read the insigniaDNS.py file. It's all there. Hopefully it's all good for you. Anyway, that's that, guys. That's how to build out Insignia DNS server on Windows yourself. And I hope that that helps get you online with everybody else. Get back to playing Xbox Live with your friends again. Quick shout out again to the Insignia Live team. Those guys put in a ton of work. Give them some love over there in the Discord. And we'll see you next time. Take care.